Okay, let's turn our attention to the defense, and an interesting one in that, you know, on the defensive line, most of the guys that are projected to be starters in the fall weren't around. And then in the defensive backfield, you know, this was your first spring with a number of the freshmen that could be big-time contributors. I mean, some of them were last year and then moving forward. So let's start with that group. You know, C.J. Wall played a lot. Trevor Forbes played a lot. DeLon Stallworth in the middle of the season started to play a lot. You know, and then guys even return. You know, Ben Ellis, his first year kind of as a starting safety, and T.J. Floyd moves to safety. So now they've gotten a little bit more comfortable in those positions. They have a year of experience. Where did you see growth, and how did you leave feeling about just kind of the defensive backfield in general?
Yeah, one of the biggest areas was communication. When you have an entire new group, and T.J. Floyd's not the most outgoing. He just loves to play football, and he's a physical player, and we're trying to get him to be more vocal. But that group, you know, you saw his confidence rising. He was more vocal. He still's got another about 2 steps to go there. Ben Ellis made a huge leap in terms of his leadership and his taking charge back there. Eli Stern is one that he can play just about anywhere, and he's just so sharp mentally, and he's one that really jumped out from a vocal standpoint. And then you got, you know, on the outside, the corners, and those guys, you know, there's this young group of DBs, and we knew when we brought them in that they were very talented. And CJ started for most of the year. DeLon started for some of the year. And they're different style players. I mean, CJ has amazing ball skills, his instincts, and you know, he's a guy that if we go through 12 practices of spring ball, he's going to have 4 interceptions. He just finds the ball and really has great eyes and really attacks it. He's very aggressive. He doesn't, you know, he's one of those guys, he's going to make the play if he has a chance to. DeLon, on the other hand, he sticks to guys. I mean, he is just that long, athletic. He's got a chance. His leadership ability with that group is off the charts. Of all the freshmen, you know, he really stands out in a lot of ways. You know, just he has that quiet confidence, you know, to play that position. And then, you know, you got guys, you know, like Matt Winston, who's
somebody that I was interested in because he was coming in right there, you know, if not, you know, one of the most highly touted recruits of the entire defense. And I know early season injury, you know, kind of left him behind those guys, and he never really made up the ground. Now he had the chance to catch up. Yeah,
when he's been healthy, he shows tremendous ability, and we got to do a great job with him continually, you know, monitoring his body. He's a big kid, and he's filling out and growing, and we got to do a great job with that because he is also big, long, makes plays on the ball. He comes out every day in the weight room. He's got such an impressive attitude. Sultan Shabazz is one that we got to get him smiling and playing because he's one that he's so conscious of responsibilities. Just go and play. And then we got guys like T.C. Schneider and Will Johnson that at a minimum, they're going to be special team stalwarts. I mean, those guys just love to play football, and they may not be as tall or as fast, but they do the right thing every play, and you can count on them. And at worst case, they're leading our special teams, and at best case, they're competing right there for roles. And you know, there's some young safeties. Luke Turner shows a lot of ability, and you know, just like Matt Winston, we got to keep him on track from a health and all those things, and get his development up to speed because the physical ability's there. And you know, Trevor's, we're gonna have to make a decision. Is he just a nickel? Is he a nickel and a safety like Dorian? And how much we put on his plate. But as we saw last year, he has, you know, special talent level, and is just somebody who, again, kind of like CJ, he just exudes confidence, you know, that way without saying a whole lot. And you know, every play he's going to be, you know, Dorian had that, you know, that it factor type thing where every play you knew he was going to be reliable.
You know, when you look at the guys that weren't out there that you expect out there, and you know, in a Haluba, a Strain, a Wagner, a Fasadi, you know, it does allow other guys opportunities. And I know you've mentioned, you know, Jay Rolliter as somebody who took advantage of that, and maybe now, you know, is part of that rotation last year just because of the opportunities. You know, maybe is there, you can talk a little bit about him, but any other guys that really kind of took advantage of their opportunity?
Yeah, Jay had such a good training camp, plays first week 1. Unfortunately, Jake Strain gets hurt. Jay goes and morphs into this bigger role, and then he gets injured. And it was kind of, you know, an unfortunate theme of what happened last year, with just some unfortunate, you know, bad timing, bad luck, you know, whatever it is. But it seemed like every week
It was an avalanche.
He happened to be week 2, and Jay, you know, was cleared. If we had another week, he probably could have played. You know, he was, you know, cleared when we got going in December. And, you know, to see him develop and work the way he did, he's got a chance to be a really good player. The most talented defensive lineman we have brought in since I've been here is Sam Wright. I mean, Sam Wright broad jumps well over 10 feet. He probably runs in the 4.7s. And when we do a one-on-one, Sam doesn't get beat. You put him in where he's got to, you know, the whole game's coming at him. You know, he's still feeling his way through that. But, you know, we just got to continue to see this work in progress, because, man, when he's on the field and he's smiling and his motor's running and he knows what he's doing, he's got a chance to be really special, and especially in the pass rush situations. But we moved him out the end, and, you know, we haven't had a guy who can, the measurables are, you know, NFL-like that way.
You'll have big time leaders back on the field in the fall, but you had one in Tommy Johnson, and you know, and we talked with Coach Verbit about him a little earlier. But how important is it for you in this, with so many young guys and guys developing and working together, to have that one voice on the field who's been through it all, had a first-team All-Ivy League season, and really looked like a lot of times by November was a coach on the field as much as, you know, just destroying run plays?
Yeah, I feel like we have so many great voices in our locker room. You know, whether it's a Simeon Lane, just these dependable, reliable, you know, Wags, and you know, Fasadi, Ben Ellis. I've gone through some of these young guys like DeLon and Trevor Forbes and Winston. You know, we got some really good, you know, group of guys from a leadership standpoint. But Tommy Johnson's got a chance to be in that special Mike Zulli. I know they wear the same number. Yeah. But in that same category, that when you look through the history of Princeton captains and guys that just were just special. I mean, I just was at Yankee Stadium, and they took care of us. You know, we're going there in a year and a half or so, and to play, you really celebrate the 150th anniversary of football. And you got Matt Whalen and Anthony DiTomaso, 2 linebackers that were emotional leaders. I played with Whalen, and he kept us humming when our head coach died a few weeks before camp. And to this day, when you talk about mentors in my life, people I look up to, Matt Whalen's that guy. He's one of those guys that when there's crisis, that's how you handle it. And Tommy Johnson's got those same characteristics.